1 inch total to score on 2 different drives, and they can't get the job done for whatever reason. Great goal line stands by the Seattle Seahawks. We are not knocking that.
No, absolutely not.
But it's just like in an offensive society that we're in right now, you would think they'd be able to find a half of a fucking inch a couple times whenever you're paying somebody $250-some million and you got a brand new offensive guru head coach.
Offensive guru head coach, and we haven't talked about how they got the ball back with 4 minutes left and didn't have enough time to get closer than a 64-yard.
Okay, so let's talk about that. New offensive guru head coach that you bring in because all offensive gurus have been doing well as head coaches. Now, new head coaches have performed very well in week 1. Haven't really been any rookie mistakes or game situation fuck-ups until last night. A conversation certainly began and is continuing. I would assume that most people are chiming in because Peyton Manning is literally watching along live with the team that he currently lives in the city of, with the new head coach at the end in a 2-minute situation, and he's saying live on the air for everybody to hear last night live and here on the internet.
Probably get a timeout here. Probably get a timeout, talk about it. Maybe won't talk about this one. Maybe get one here. Maybe won't get one here. Maybe... And maybe we just talk about it. Got to get one here.
Nate, wait. And then Shannon Sharp goes, so let me get this straight. They just blew through 30 seconds there to trot out somebody to do the field goal. Now, if they go for that on 4th and 5, if they take a timeout early, save the amount of time, they go for it, they don't get it, then he's the idiot who didn't even send out his kicker for a 64-yard opportunity, and he has a kicker that can hit from 64. Now, they call a timeout, they save themselves some time, and you figure that the offensive guru head coach and a $256 million quarterback can figure out a way to get 5 yards. Or if they even draw him off, try to draw him off sides before taking the timeout at the end. None of these things happen, so I think that's why it's a question everywhere. Hindsight, once again, is our friend in this, but Nathaniel Hackett's beginning as a play caller and as a head coach is in question, and I think it all happened on Monday Night Football, and he'll just have to bounce back, but that's life as a fucking head coach in the NFL, I guess.
Well, and it's one of the things we talk about, too. Like, you always mention it, and we've talked about it with Chuck, like how many of those different things that he probably didn't have to worry about last year when he's just the OC, and who knows how many plays he's actually calling in Green Bay because LaFleur calls most of it. Like, that's a lot more responsibility on your play.
How about the timeouts for the kneels at the end?
Yeah,
too?
exactly.
Everything he's doing is being scrutinized right now.
Yeah.
Joining us exactly. Joining us now, this is the men's league.
Yeah.
It's like when Shianu had people fucking diving at
at the knees.
Fans shouldn't be yelling timeout and your head coach isn't. Like, I know it's Peyton Manning, but what? Half of the country was watching that game like, okay, timeout, talk about it, timeout.
No, I agree completely. But I assume he had a plan. You would think he would have had a plan. Let's go through the end of that game there. And the situations are situational, and that's certainly a situation that you don't know you're in until you're fucking in it. Now, I assume that they had preparation, and hey, if this situation pops up, this is what we're going to do. 3 timeouts, minute 11, 3rd and 14, down 1. I'm not sure that's a situation you work on, but I'm assuming you've done similar type plays. This was supposed to be not get close enough to field goal range where we even have to make a decision. Let's just go ahead and run another play after this and have to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
They get to the 46. I think he was told pregame, probably by McManus, if you give me the 47, I'm good. Probably 65 and in because how big McManus's leg is. So at that moment of him stopping at
right now.
Yes, at the 46, he has to go, oh shit, we're in field goal range. It's 4th down. He should have timed out to think about it longer, but that seems like where the malfunction happened in his brain, AJ. Is that what you think?
Yeah, it does seem that way. Yeah, like you realize, oh, we're in range for our guy, so we're gonna get this done. But yeah, you blew 20 seconds, then here we go. Like, what was this play going to be? That's what I would like to know.
And if this was just going to be a hard count, how come we didn't even take it?
Yeah.
You know,
like you could.
Well, they're about to get delayed game.
As soon as Javonte gets tackled, you could time out, huddle up, go.
Hard
and if
count.
you don't, hard count. If you don't want to run a play, hard count, another timeout.
Can you go back-to-back timeouts?
That was my question.
There's other people too on staff.
Saying
Like,
I don't think you can, I don't know if you can go back-to-back timeouts, but nonetheless, at least hard count immediately as soon as you see 4th and 5, then take a timeout and figure it out. You know?
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, that there's multiple coaches on. There's like analytics coaches. There's all that you have, like game management people that's kind of their job to kind of forecast what may come up here in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter that you got to deal with. And I know myself, like that That would not be my strength. If I was a coach, which I would never be, I would have somebody like, hey, my brain does not work like this. I need you to have this all drilled out before the game.
See, I don't think you should be a head coach then. I think that is something the head coach has to be able to figure out. I honestly,
Absolutely.
those decisions are things that the head coach is put in the head coaching role to make, especially now he's a play caller, so he's only on the offensive side. Normally, offensive coaches are better with situations than defensive coaches because defensive coaches are normally on the receiving end of the other motherfucker making the decision. So you would think that Hackett would have been ahead of the game, but I think getting into field goal range without the expectation of them getting into field goal range on that particular play really fucked them up. Tone Diggs just corrected me. Can't go timeout for just corrected the stat
Myself.
line. Yeah, well, yeah, I can't go back-to-back timeouts. The Lions, I guess, did it last year, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Yes, that's the last time it has happened. But if they don't make it on 4th and 5, and you have a kicker like McManus who can make it from there. Now, his stats from 60-plus are not great. Nobody's stats from 60-plus are that fantastic. Maybe Prater. He might have hit a couple. Janikowski has a miss from 70. You're going to hold that against him on his stats, plus 60.
Yeah.
You know, like it's an interesting thing for a game-winning situation. If you walk out of there without a kick at all, you're murdered even more, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it was the lack of the hard count, timeout. It just looked like they weren't prepared.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you look like you're panicked, everybody else is going to be like, this motherfucker wasn't ready for this particular situation.
Yeah, like that's what Rex said. Like it felt like when they did get all those yards and it became 4th and 5, like he had an idea of whether they wanted to kick it or run a play, but he didn't know what to do like in the moment. And that's where it feels like obvious to, call a timeout, maybe talk to Russ, maybe talk to McManus, be like, okay, like what are we thinking here?
That's like NASCAR. Everybody on the line. Let's
Yeah.
go hard count here. Like whatever your play call.
What was he think? Wait, was he thinking, hey, if we drain this kick, I want to have as least amount of time on the clock as possible?
Yeah, if we make it, we got to kick off.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Seattle hadn't done anything on offense in the second half, really.
Yeah, but like I think that is what he was thinking in his head is we are going to kick this. Let's run as much time for when he makes it. That might be what Hackett's saying. This guy's going to make this kick.
What did he say after the game?
Oh, great question. Should have done better research, guy who hosts a show about sports and was going to talk about this situation on show.
Well, I mean, the other thing, too, is he's the only one.
I don't think he said
right?
much. We didn't hear it.
It ended late.
No, yeah, it was very late.
I was fighting it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, with how loud it got for that 64-yarder, it was like, I was up for a bit. I was up for a bit after that 64-yarder. That was loud. That place was fucking loud. And he almost, this is from 63. It's good, probably.
Yeah.
It's in, last second, He hit a mulligan, too. So he missed them both, I think, same way.
Yep.
So you would think that maybe he gets the second one in there. That ball turned sideways, though, for some reason. Had to be because he must have hit it a little bit like that. McManus can stroke a fucking ball, though.
It sounded like you kind of said where he said, I thought Javonte made an amazing play. Feels like he wasn't expecting to get close enough. But he said we got to the mark that we were looking for.
Yeah. So this is another thing that happens with head coaches. They get told a mark or a yardage for the kicker to be comfortable. And then once they get there, they're like, yeah, well, you fucking told us. Tell us a different number then. It's almost like I'm not saying he did this because it was 4th down. They couldn't just gain more yards. But there's plenty of instances around the league, and we'll see it every single week, where it comes down to like a game-winning kick or whatever, and they get to the mark, and it's like it's a 54-yarder, and you got a couple plays in time. It's like, can we get maybe 5 more yards here to make this easier? Well, you're the one that told us that this. You're the one that said that you can make this kick, right? I mean, we're fucking paying you. Make the goddamn kick. It's like, yeah, but this would be an easier kick. We fucking maybe,
Keep going.
Common sense, kind of, right? Here we go. Let's get a little extra cushion so it's a little easier. Right?
But it's very much I did my job, right? It's very much like we got to you know what I mean?
Now kicker. So then, if I was the kicker next game, he'd be like, "Where are you good from?" I was like, 25-yard line.
Well, extra point. Where's the extra point now? 33 yards? Fucking that.
Right there.
Every single time. I'd like an extra point. Yeah. Sorry about it. Can you give me a real answer? Well, will you be a real coach at some point? Yeah. Make a real decision later and not fuck me over? But that is a constant conversation. So, once again, though, McManus bombs balls. Like he takes his kickoffs are 3 steps, and he can put that thing out of the stadium. Nobody gives him credit because he's at Mile High, right? So it's like thin air. Anybody can do it up there. I agree. Everybody's ball goes further at Mile High. That motherfucker at regular ass sea level can beat whoever your kicker is probably, if I had to guess.